Collective, welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy in regards to trauma, ways to heal, ways to overcome via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. I hope that you're doing well today. Thank you so much for joining me. I super appreciate you. I know this is a really tough topic, right? Like, it's really hard to go through traumatic experiences. Everyone's experience is going to be different. Sometimes people understand, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we need outside sources of love, help, support. It has been feeling pretty heavy lately. The astrology is reawakening things that we need to look at a little bit deeper, and specifically so we can heal them. Not an easy task to go through, especially if on some level we've kind of pleasantly shoved things down, or we don't want to look at something because it's too hard, it's too painful. All completely legit reasons, right, to turn a blind eye, because we got to keep our life up and running, right? Like, you can't just shut down, bottom out. If one does, there can be consequences. We have finances, bills, families, etc., to keep things up and running. And so sometimes that can create not enough time, energy, space for us to process through what we need to, where the trauma is manifesting, where it's rearing its ugly face, or even just the experiences that we're still kind of trying to process through. It can be a lot all across the board. That's why I like to start off my readings with an energy cleansing, just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out those places where we're finding block, limitation in our life. It's a great time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you've come in with something you would like Spirit to answer questions around. Maybe you have a person, a situation on your heart, on your mind, maybe the title resonated with you, etc. Definitely give those over to Spirit. Be open to receive. It is a really great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how things are faring, where they're headed, or if you are just looking for more of a realignment of self, mind, body, soul, getting reconnected with who you are, your wants, your needs, which trauma can definitely disconnect us from, right? 100%, total disassociation. I do energy healing. I also do Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Like I said, trauma can be a really strong force to disconnect from self, because it is a very overwhelming experience. And I would love to help support in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, this is going a little wild with that. Let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being, so that we may see and understand the messages clearly, and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. Amen. All right. So I'm getting this energy of it does feel a little bit heavier this week. We're seeing more tension in the astrology, so that makes a lot more sense, right? That's usually when trauma resurfaces. Whether you're in an experience, just coming out of an experience, or it's been a minute, right? Trauma doesn't seem to have any boundaries of time, meaning it can resurface as if we are in that moment, in that space, instantaneously. There's those reverberations of the reactions, the pain, the suffering, And I feel like there has been a lot of this resurfacing lately. Maybe it's not been overkill. Maybe it's not been every day, every minute you're kind of in this space. But I'm hearing that there's been enough coming your way that's making you feel way down. I feel like it's like you're questioning yourself. Like there's this lack of security around certain things that have happened. I feel like you were dodging bullets left and right. You know, it was wild, right? Like you never knew where it was coming from, when it was going to come, when it would hit, who it was coming from. This feels like an experience that your world was completely shaken up, right? Like it always reminds me of that snow globe energy, right? When we shake it up, or the universe shakes it up, spirit, God, however you understand it. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip. And the energy, evolve into your complexity. So it reminds us that these experiences give us layers to ourself, to our character, to our personality. I was reflecting on how if we don't go through these experiences, if I didn't go through this experience, I wouldn't be able to help people in the same way, right? Sometimes what we travel through doesn't have a lot of explanation. We don't understand the whys, the ins and outs, but there is value, even if it is just helping one other person who went through the same thing. That's still huge. That's still beautiful. That's still, we can't safeguard. And there is this value I'm hearing of not living out of so much fear and anxiety. Starting to heal yourself. I'm hearing like this is a lot about not being afraid to look at the places that aren't so beautiful, that aren't so pretty. Because I feel like there's certain things that are, I feel like, I don't know if I was hearing this before as I was preparing, but I feel like there are some things that are coming up, right? Like, I don't know if this is people outright attacking you, coming after you, etc., or if it's just the memories of what you've gone through. But it does feel like there's a little bit more oppression this week. We are heading into a full moon. When I'm recording, there are full moons in a couple days. Full moon in Sagittarius. It's fire energy. It can be very abrasive and overwhelming. Fire energy can be really, really intense. And this feels like more of the aggressor. This feels like more the person, the people, the situations that have really been trying to push you down, to put you under their thumb. It looks like you've really had to kind of be gentle with yourself in your process. Take it slow, step by step. And here's the thing. I feel like you've come out of this enough to see the value one step at a time. I think there's a part of you that fairly so is still afraid, is still worried about what it means to come out of the dark. However that means for you, whether it's just the fear of like getting back into community relationships, the lack of trust, the amount of trust that has been broken. And that's like, as I'm sensing into that energy, it's like that's where I'm feeling the people, the situations still around you, still kind of oppressing you. And again, you might still have interaction with some of these people, having to deal with them either on a daily basis or fairly consistently, or maybe you're just running into them, seeing them, they pop up on social media, on your phone, whatever it may be. There was a message, I don't know if this was last week, it was last week, 2 weeks ago, but there was this message of like, the hurt, the pain is coming up so that we can heal it. It's not coming up to make you feel worse or make you feel more like shit. I feel like there's some validation that needs to happen. A lot of times when we're in traumatic situations, dealing with traumatic people who take advantage, who manipulate, who control, we make ourselves small. It's hard not to kind of hide in that proverbial corner or darkness. This is someone that it's showing that this energy is hard to escape. Four of Wands talks about family, close friendships, close relationships. So something you can't really escape, something you have to be reminded of. And I think I'm hearing this is something that's not really giving you credit or validation. Still trying to invite you back in. This feels like someone or something that maybe wants to work it out, maybe wants to make amends, but it feels like whatever cycle this is pretty destructive. Because you have the Six of Swords. I love this butterfly energy. Butterfly is transformation, death, and rebirth. Six of Swords is all about moving towards calmer waters, settling down, not having so much drama, so much chaos. But you still have this open door over here. You still have this open door. And I feel like someone is wanting you to come back around. I do feel like there is this energy of a desire to heal. I feel like they're watching you, but you're also watching them. I don't know. This is a really interesting energy. Something you haven't been able to get away from. Something that you've had to just be really diplomatic. Like, justice energy is when we take that step back, when we look at things from a bird's eye perspective. And I've noticed this a lot within trauma and healing. You have to give yourself that bird's eye perspective, because if you're staying so focused on what's being said, what they're doing, how they're doing it, especially when you're dealing with someone on a consecutive basis, day-to-day basis, however that works for you, it can make it so much easier to get lost in the emotion, the things, it's easy to get lost in the very things you're trying to let go of and walk away. And that's why it's so important to be able to look at and acknowledge the pain, acknowledge like those places that, even if it's not on a cognitive level, even if it's not like you proactively think you deserve this, there's something about your soul that's allowing you to connect with someone. Maybe it's the words they use, the way they manipulate. That can be really hard to see through, right? When someone's just very good at knowing the right thing to say, right time, right place. I feel like this has been a theme that's been coming up a lot for you. It's making you question yourself. You've been running into a lot of people, a lot of situations that are downplaying some of this for you, downplaying the trauma. And it's making whatever door is left open a little enticing. Again, not saying that you deserve it, but it's enticing in the way that there's a belief that it's going to be better or it's going to be different or whatever they're selling you, right? Whatever they're selling you. And in reality, this is someone who's had to learn from the experience, how they treated you, how they handled things. I don't know that there's a lot of ownership, because it's all dependent on how you approach this, what choice, what decision you're going to make. And here's the thing, you've already walked away to some capacity. You've given yourself more space, more room. Let's continue to pull, sorry. I get lost. But I like this. I like that you're finding your strength even in the midst of the pain, even in the midst of the struggle, even regardless of what other people, places, things are doing. Six of Pentacles is such a beautiful energy just to confirm how grounded you are. That it's not so, I'm hearing like you've overcome a certain part. And remember, like, healing is not linear, especially when it comes to trauma, especially when it comes to those things that are deeper embedded in our soul. But for now, for this week, you're okay. For now, you have the strength to look at some of these things. You don't have to bludgeon yourself. You don't have to. I think there's going to be some grief that goes with it. But it's also healing medicine. I'm just reminded of how nourishing like water is, like cleansing yourself, whether you're standing out in the rain, dancing, if you will, you can, taking a bath, like an herbal bath, right? Putting a lot of really like cleansing herbs, depending on your situation, what you're trying to release, let go. You could even do it in the shower if you wanted, but it can be, especially moving in with that intention, it can be a really nourishing and cleansing process. It is almost like a baptism. Don't hate me for saying that. I'm not trying to be sacrilegious, but it has that energy around it, right? Water is what helps us like carry out the toxins, carry out whatever energy is no longer serving us. And it's both internal and external. It's not just this thing that you have to do on the outside of you, right? It's also being able to kind of drink, take in, ingest that healing medicine. This is hard for someone. This is hard for someone because I feel like you are evolving. That's what this is all about. You're adding layers to yourself, to your character, to who you are, to the way you're going to show up in this world, the way you're going to love, help, support other people who have been through a similar experience. Good things are coming. I haven't even gotten to this part yet. And like, honestly, and this has been a theme in our weekly energy in the collective this week. Good things are coming. Good things are coming. I don't think you see it yet. I think we're still kind of in this process of moving through. We're still in this process that if certain things left unchecked, you might go back through this door again. And it doesn't have to be to the same person, the same situation. It can be a whole new bag of goodies, but it can be the same energy, the same vibe. That's exactly how karma works. If we don't cleanse, if we don't release, then we're carrying that with us. And essentially, it's way easier to attract that same type of energy towards us. But what I love is like, this is saying you're healing. You're healing. You're ready to take the harder steps. You are taking the harder steps. I think just living with this, having to deal with it, having to process through it, maybe even all alone, right? Like maybe without any help, support. People are very weird when it comes to trauma. There's still a lot of hush hush, don't say this, don't talk about this. We really don't want to hear how bad it was. People turning a blind eye because it's easier, right? Because then they don't have to really get involved. It's sad, honestly. It's really, 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 really sad. But I also think this speaks to your strength. Action leads to success. These small steps have paid off, are paying off hugely for you in the long run. And yeah, right now it does seem bleak. Right now it's holding on to an ideal, maybe even a fantasy on some level of what it's going to be like on the other side. If you can even get to the other side, but you can. You can. There is this promise here. It's just really, really, really effing hard to see when we're in the midst of it. And we're dealing with a lot of shitty people, shitty situations, who are not helpful, who actually just add to the problem. The duck and the chrysanthemum, I love this. Luck, how beautiful. But this is the beauty. This is the beauty, right? Is we keep getting these confirmations of success. Actions lead to success. You're getting the lucky duck. Better than what you could have imagined. Again, this is in our blocked energy this week, so it's not going to be as apparent, but good things are coming in. And this is exactly very, very similar to how our weekly energy has moved. We just got to be a little bit patient. The frog in the lotus is metamorphosis, right? You're in that space of transforming. We've been seeing this all across the board. Pluto is in retrograde right now. It just moved into Aquarius. Mercury is going to be going into retrograde here coming up in July. And so a lot of like what we're kind of navigating through is what the change is going to look like and how we can settle into the new. Oh, I love this. The deer in the oat is healing. The cards never lie. We've been getting some really, really beautiful confirmations here at the channel. It really just always blesses my heart. I hope it blesses yours. This is not easy stuff, right? Like and our body, our mind, our soul finds so many different ways to protect ourselves as we're you're going through the experience, living in the experience, or even coming out of it, you know? And so much of coming out of it is this processing, how to kind of digest what has gone on. How do we even understand it? A lot of times there might not be answers. That can be defeating in and of itself, but I feel like as this continues to manifest, as you continue to evolve, as you continue to grow, as this chapter continues to close, whatever there is a tower and there is healing. There is an ending in sight. And as this closes out, I feel like more information, more clarity, more peace. It's peace, right? Acceptance of what has been is going to transcend, come over you, wash over you is what I should say. But we're kind of still dealing with, or, you know, I mean, just being present and dealing with the hardship at the same time. If that's what this is all about, right? Remembering it's not linear, it's not easy, and we have to know how to best support ourselves first. So I hope this message helped. Thank you so much for your time, your energy always. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I'd love to hear, or just say hey, share, and a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support that you bring to the channel. No, it totally blesses my heart, and I'm sending that love and blessings back your way.